Hey guys, how's it going? Ghostly Rich here today, and today we're going to be trying to remove and changing our upper timing cover. At least the gasket. What happens is if this starts to leak, you get a water pump issue, which is exactly what happened to me. It leaks and then leaks down onto the water pump. Water pump fails because it's just under your intake manifold here, and voila, you're losing coolant and you're losing that. So since I was losing coolant, I have an empty reservoir, which makes this a little bit easier. If you don't, I like to try and give people a little bit more access with their hands. You don't have to. I will attempt to do this without removing the coolant reservoir, but it might prove to be easier, and I'll show you why. First, things that you're gonna if you have a diverter valve relocation kit, you will have to move certain things out of the way. As you see, this little sensor right here, we are going to be removing that today. So the first thing you're gonna want is, I believe this is gonna be a T30, but I will double check, and we can loosen this sensor and get it out of the way. I think that's gonna be the first place of business. I've removed the first one right here on the dipstick, the second one right here. Now to get this one, it's just a duct tab. Sink it in and then pull it out. I'm gonna try and do it with my thumb here. It's just, there you go. Put that off to the side up over here. Tuck it away, out of your way. Ignore this, it's just a battery charging line up here. And then from there, you'll see there's one last screw under that plug, just beneath it. Loosen that up. One part you're probably not going to have is this oil catch can. I just quickly pulled it off and put it over here, so that way I can get better access, because after we do these top three, there's two that are going to be farther down here. So if you're looking from the top here, right beside your engine mount, you'll see another bolt hole right here, right where this finger is. Remove that bolt. That gives you some wiggle room with your dip. And then from there, pull your dipstick out. Put her down right here. Don't grab right here on the sensor, but if you grab a little bit right here, see how it separates a little bit? If you have something plastic that you can separate this with, or maybe you can just get it in there. I wouldn't suggest using anything too crazy. You don't want to mess with that gasket that's there too much, but basically we're going to pop it out of there, but you want to just separate it. Loosen the first bolt right here, which is why we loosen that dipstick bolt. Next is this one. Loosen that one. And this is where it gets tricky. There's another one that's right about here, around the corner, that you're going to have to remove next. So if we're looking right here, remember this is your dipstick tube. And right in front of that is a bolt. So what you got to do is, if you look right there, see where my wrench is, my box wrench? It's a ratcheting one. And the reason why is I can hold it right there, loosen that bolt off, and again, it's just in front of that dipstick tube. You'll see it. It goes this bolt, dipstick tube, and the other. Loosen that off, and then we'll get the last troublesome one, which is on the other side. You notice you have a hole in your engine mount. The reason why is so you can do this and push the pipes out of the way. Now you'll have access to both those bolts. Like I said, one is right there, right behind the dipstick tube, and one is right there. It's slow, it's painful, you're gonna lose some knuckle hair. Just slowly undo them. If you have them, you're gonna love them, because you can reach down and turn the bolt with these, which will be way faster once you get in the groove than with the box wrench. They're cheap and they do the job. How you'll know when they're good? Well, get your nails in here and just pull that cover away. Of course, it's going to be better sealed than that. I've just popped mine away already because I've been checking those bolts. So, once you get those two bolts all wheeled out, it is a little fun because you have to get that plate that you're sucking back over here around here. So, you literally have to just pull. See how I'm pulling back on that? You're going to pull back. You're going to hold these back up here, and you're going to work it out, and it's going to be a little fun. But you will work it out because you need to. And once you get that timing cover off, you're just going to pull this gasket off. You're going to replace the new one. I would suggest cleaning all the surfaces. Clean the surface where this gasket sits on the upper timing cover, and then also clean it over here. Just go along it and make sure that there's nothing that's going to cause leakage, because as I'm sure you do not want to pull this off again to replace this gasket. Although it's 5 easy bolts, they're just, the last 2 are in such a horrible spot. But I was able to do this without pulling out that radiator reservoir. So it shows that it can be done with minimal removal and movement. Definitely one of the craziest ones, guys. Just get those 2. I tightened that bottom one, and then I snugged the rest of them up. And then afterwards I did a star configuration. Went down to that one, tightened it up all the way, tightened that one up, tightened that one up, tightened that one up, and then tightened this one up. After that, reseated that sensor, make sure it was all cleaned up, put it back on there, tightened them up, and clicked it on. I mean, that's all there is to it. Slip your dipstick back in. And if you're like me and you had an oil catch can, put that back. And if you had your diverter valve relocation kit, if you have a KO4 from Unitronic, hook that back up. Other than that, I would rate this out of difficulty. Really, it's not that difficult, but on the other hand, those 2 bottom bolts, they're aggravating. You're going to take time. You're going to probably spend 15 minutes at screw if it's going to be a bad day. So other than that, I hope this helped you out. Again, didn't have to touch this radiator reservoir. I don't think it would have helped much, really. If you do that trick where you squeeze these hoses back and then you put a extension in that engine mount hole right there, it just holds everything right out of the way and you won't have to worry. But if that's been leaking for a while, be sure to check your water pump. If you have coolant pooling or you see coolant on the front of your engine here, make sure that you change that out too. Again, I have a video for that. It'll be posted on the channel. Thanks again for watching. Press like if it helped you out and subscribe for more.